Okay. All right, everybody. It's that time. Come on in and let us relax. Let me do my quick share outs. And as quick as I can make them. I'm working as quick as I can, trust me. Okay, let's go to that. Let's do share page. So how is everybody doing? I hope you've had a good day. I myself have had a good day. I have been getting things done, and as I've needed, things have been getting done like I've needed them to. Let me that's kind of nice when things when things fall into place. It makes life a little easier. I'm still busy. In fact, next week, or no, not next week, the week after, I have to get that second shot. The vaccination. Normally, I would tell people that I wouldn't get it, but I got it, and mainly just because I have a suspicion they're going to at some point demand that if you don't have paperwork proving it, you're not going to be allowed to do things. They're going to kind of restrict you. And that just doesn't sound like fun. So I guess I'm just going to go. I went along with it just for that reason. Anyway, welcome. And thank you for coming. Take a breath. You are almost at the end of the week. This is Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. We're almost there. How do you feel? The week can be stressful. People can be stressful. But you have the ability to get rid of that stress. And if you have a problem with it, that's when you come here. So take a breath. Relax. You are okay now. You are in a safe space. I'm not here to persecute you. I'm not here to tell you how to think or what to do. I'm here for you. Good evening, Patrick. What is sad? Are you sad, Patrick? Or are you commenting on something? Emotions can be hard. If you're sad, then let's work on that. Let's go ahead and put down a line into earth. Either from your buttocks or your feet, and it can be roots or a line. But let them go down into earth now. The world does move, and sometimes it can cause emotion that we don't want or want to deal with. And that's okay. It's up to us. If we don't want sadness, choose to find happiness. I've been given many interesting turns and twists in my life. And I always look to the fact that, well, one, it can be worse. And two, being sad never gets me anywhere. So I look for the positive, and I work very hard to find that positive, even in the worst situations. It's not always easy, but it does help me find my life, and it can help you find your life. Let go of that negative energy of sadness and let that go down into the earth. Let any sadness from others interfering with your life join the flow down into the earth. And let any sadness about how you view the world and let that join the flow down into the earth. Sometimes we ourselves make ourselves sad. And that is hard. Hard to get through and to deal with. And it can be hard to change. When we've been doing something for such a long time, changing that decision making on how we look at something can seem like it's impossible, but it isn't. Just letting go and saying, I don't want to be sad anymore. And let that not wanting to be sad anymore join the flow into the earth. And let any sadness about not thinking you can let go of that sadness join the flow down into the earth. You can be happy if you desire that, if you want it. You need only say, I want to be happy. Now, you will have to condition yourself. And I say that because changing yourself first takes the little steps. Finding that you say words that are negative or make you feel sad, and you say, you know what? I didn't need to do that. And correcting it. Words mean everything. If you tell yourself you're sad, or that you should be sad, you will be. But if you say, you know what? I want to be happy, then you can be. It just takes a little bit of practice and willpower. And let the sadness I correct myself. Let the energy of not feeling like you can be happy join the flow down into the earth. You know, I used to drive truck. And when I drove sometimes, I was tired of it. Or I felt alone. But I also well, even then, I looked at what I did. The people I met, the things I saw. And I reminded myself that they weren't bad. And that I may be lonely now, but that doesn't mean I'm lonely. Usually just meant I was tired. Let any energy about being tired and let any sadness about being tired join the flow down into the earth. People don't realize how important sleep really is. And allowing ourselves to sleep and not burdening ourselves before we go to sleep. How important it is not to burden ourselves. And let any sadness about burdening yourself before you go to sleep join the flow down into the earth. A lot of people do that. And I think it's because right before bed, things are quiet. And our minds tend to wander and kick up all the things that we may have not thought about during the day. Let any energy from the burden that keeps you from sleeping join the flow down into the earth. And let any energy about the sadness that keeps you from going to sleep at night join the flow down into earth. You're okay. I'm not judging you. And you shouldn't judge yourself. If you're sad, let that sadness go right now. Let it go down into the earth. Many things happen to us all the time. Never is perfect or easy. But it is still life. And as long as you're participating and breathing, you have something to be happy about. And let that join the flow down into earth, that sadness. And let yourself start to realize that you have a right to be happy. Many people try to stop us from being happy, try to manipulate us, hurt our physical and emotional well-being, to make us feel burdened and trampled. Let that burdened and trampled feeling join the flow down into the earth. You are okay. I'm not here to harm you. I'm not here to be in charge of you. I am here to help you remind yourself that it's okay to be happy. You have that right. I'm here to remind you about that. You have the right to be happy. Say it to yourself. I have the right to be happy. Come on. I mean, really say it. I have the right to be happy. Tomorrow morning, when you get up and you take your shower, when you step out and you look in that mirror, tell yourself, look yourself straight in the face and say, I have the right to be happy today. And any time you feel something's interfering with that, remind yourself, I have the right to be happy today. It's not perfect, but it's a start to remind yourself. Now, being happy does not mean interfering with other people's lives and taking their happiness away. No, being happy means being able to follow your path in life without interference, without being manipulated. You're allowed. You have the right. Not just because I say so, but because you live on this earth. And on this earth, everybody has the right to be happy. Whether or not you are, that's up to you. I have known many people who were miserable. And first thing I do is say, what are you doing to help yourself be happy? They're like, well, I want to do this, and I feel like I should be doing this, and first thing I say is, who's manipulating you to think that that is what happiness is for you? What would make you really happy? And a lot of times, once they calm down and they think through what would make them happy, they realize they're actually in a happy place. I'm not saying that for everybody. Some people have gone through and do go through things that are not fun and not happy. But there's still the ability of how you look at it to whether or not it's going to bring you down, or you're going to strengthen up and say, okay, I can get out of this. Let that energy of others manipulating and burdening you join the flow down into the earth. And let that energy of you sabotaging yourself, preventing yourself from being happy, join the flow down into the earth. And that does happen. Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it to our own selves. We'll sit there and go, oh, but I want to be happy. But you've put so many conditions on what happiness is that you can't achieve it. I know people they'll say they're just happy being able to have a roof over their head, food in their mouth. Doesn't matter if it's good, it's food. and a place to sleep. It doesn't even have to be a bed. As long as it was a place to sleep, they were happy. And when you think about that, I mean, when I was in the service, my saying was, home is where the pillow lies. I didn't always have a roof over my head. Didn't always have a lot of food. And I didn't have a bed. But I was alive. The food may have not been great, but it was food. Kept me alive. Our circumstances can change, but the decision of what makes us happy is ours, and ours alone. If you determine that the only way you're going to be happy is if you're a billionaire or a trillionaire, that's really setting the bar way up there. And it can make you miserable. Let any energy, I correct myself, let any sadness about how you perceive happiness and how that sabotages you join the flow down into the earth. We do it a lot to ourselves, more than we realize. My life, I tell people, I'm happy to wake up breathing, because I've had days where that was a struggle. I'm happy to wake up, period. Because there were questions sometimes whether or not I would. It's all about perspective. If you decide that if I have food in my stomach and a pillow to lie my head on, I'm happy, anything from there is gravy. Anything from there is a blessing. Things can be taken away from us. But as long as we keep it in perspective, they're just things. I've slept out in the middle of nowhere with nothing over me. And I always carried around my blow-up pillow. Army issue. I always had a place to put my head. And I had crappy food. But it kept me alive. I have all sorts of issues in my life. But as long as I am waking up breathing, it's a good start to my day. Evaluate. Look at what you have allowed others and yourself to put the demand on as to what will make you happy. And decide what is realistic and what is nonsense. Well, to begin with, waking up, okay, that's a good thing. Being able to breathe, that's a good thing. From there, everything else is negotiable. I've been that bad before. So I set my bars pretty low. Let any sadness join the flow into the... I correct myself. Let any sadness about putting so many demands on you yourself. And let that join the flow down into the earth. We do that. Whether it's because we were taught to be that way, or peer pressure. Who knows? It's time to realize you have the right to decide what makes you happy. You have the right to make decisions for you. And you have the right to be happy. Decide what will put you in that space. And grab it. Like I said, I set my bar low because I had a lot of things in front of me. Every day is a blessing to me. Every day I wake up and, well, I have a reason to be happy. I'm breathing and I'm alive. Anything else, I'll negotiate. Whatever it is. I'll figure it out. And you can do that too. Sometimes it takes kicking your own butt, telling yourself, you know what, it ain't fun right now, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy it. And that's okay. Life happens. It's a choice. All right, let any remaining negatives from this session join the flow down into the earth. And once all those negatives have joined the flow down into the earth, and are down in the earth, pull back up your lines and your roots. And sit there and enjoy the quiet. You have that right. Enjoy the quiet and the peace. You are allowed. You are okay now. And you are not being judged. Not by me.